a chat video. In today's video, I'm going to be going back kind of to my roots, and I'm going to be sharing with you my weigh-in results. Then I want to talk about the weeklies, because Louise, you had asked me how I use my weeklies, if I use them for snacks or how I use those. So I think that's a great question, and I replied to you when you shared that and said that I would include that in a video. So to get me to where I am today, I kind of want to backtrack a little bit. I have been following the Weight Watchers program for years. I became a lifetime member in, oh my gosh, like 2005, 2004. I became a lifetime member, and by reaching my goal weight, I did not stay at my goal weight. I gained weight over the years, went through menopause, lots of different stuff happened. The bottom line is I'm now over 50, I'm 51, and I feel like after 50, just for me personally, life changes and the things that are important change. Your priorities change, I guess you could say. And I've just kind of really reevaluated my life in the last year or two. And during this year, earlier in the year, I just was starting to feel like I've dieted my whole life and I don't want to diet anymore. I can call it a lifestyle all I want, but my mind was just saying no, is still a diet. A diet is a diet. When you're tracking points and calories, it's still a diet. And so I read a book, Intuitive Eating, and really it was a real eye-opener for me. But to be completely honest with myself, I'm not there yet. And I honestly missed dieting. I hate to say that, I hate to admit that, but I guess I really enjoy tracking my foods. I enjoy learning, and to look back from when I did Weight Watchers years ago and the foods that I was eating then compared to the foods that I'm eating now, I will honestly tell you, when I did Weight Watchers and became a lifetime member, I was not doing it for health. 100% was doing it for vanity, for weight loss, for what I looked. I was in my 30s. It was completely not for health. But fast forward to now, and it really has become about health. But I also was starting to get to where I was obsessing about health, and I was obsessing about ingredient lists, and I was obsessing about everything that people tell you about what is and isn't healthy and you should and shouldn't eat. And it just got to be a lot. It really did. I was starting to really go through where I felt like everything had to be organic or it's not going to be good for my health. And but the bottom line is sometimes I can't afford organic. But where I am today, I'm following science. I am completely following science, and I'm learning a lot of different things and just following what feels right for me and what works for me, whether it be financially, emotionally, if it's satisfying me, if it's satisfying my needs, that type of thing. So I never stopped Weight Watchers. I've always Weight Watchers is always going to be in the back of my mind. Even when I'm only doing calories, I still am constantly being like, well, this is this many points, this is this many points. I've done it for so long. I know the foods that have points versus don't have points. So Weight Watchers is just always going to be in my mind. So I want to talk about my weeklies. I'm going to share my weigh-in results first. It's been a long time since I've done a weekly weigh-in. I don't know if I'm going to go back to weekly or monthly, just because you all know my feelings about that number on the scale. My normal weigh-in day always used to be Thursdays. That's just the day that always worked better for me. But because I knew the new program was starting, I actually started this a week ago. So the day before the program started is when I actually started. So on Sunday, the 13th, because I knew pretty much what was going to be in the program, I went ahead and started on Sunday the 13th as my first weigh-in. And then the Monday, the 14th, the program started, and I'm down 3.2 pounds. I didn't need the scale to tell me that I was down, because I definitely could feel it. But again, I'm not saying that I lost 3.2 pounds in fat, because it doesn't always work that way. I was still eating good. I just wasn't tracking, constantly tracking all my food. So this week I have been back on tracking everything, putting everything in my tracker, and down 3.2 pounds. So I am pleased with that. And I think I'm gonna continue with the Weight Watchers program. I think I'm still gonna be doing both. I'm still gonna track though in both Weight Watchers and in my Fitness Pal, just because I am trying to make sure that my protein is staying up. But I do want to hear from all of you. If you've weighed in, or whenever you do weigh in, come back and let me know how you did. But please remember, if you don't lose in the first week, or you don't lose what you expected to lose, that doesn't mean you didn't do good, or that doesn't mean that the plan isn't working. You can't base it on 1 week. And honestly, we don't know how much water we have in our body at the time that we weigh. There's so many different things that factor into that number on the scale. So just keep that in mind. Use it as a guide, but don't let it define you. So let me talk about the 0-point foods and what ones I eat and don't eat. I pretty much eat all of them, except for there are some I have to be careful of. The ones I have to be careful of are beans, peas, lentils, corn, popcorn, and I think that's it. Tofu and tempeh, I don't eat that. And then the non-fat cottage cheese, I've mentioned before, I don't care for non-fat cottage cheese, and I absolutely love my Good Culture 2%, so I won't be changing that anytime soon. And one thing I will not do this time is replace the quality of food, the taste of food, just because I can have more of something else. Years ago, the old me that was just trying to lose weight, I was all about bulking up on all the fat-free stuff so my plate could be loaded, as opposed to something that tastes better. So a lot's changed over the years. And then the non-fat plain Greek yogurt, I know a lot of you say to use that in place of sour cream, but I just cannot do it. I've tried it and I still taste that tartness. So I don't know. So the only thing that I use the non-fat plain Greek yogurt in is recipes, and mostly my 2-ingredient dough. If I make like strombolis or homemade pizza, I'll use it for the 2-ingredient dough. But all the other ones I eat lots of fruits, I eat lots of vegetables, and then I get 23 points a day and 28 weeklies. Now, Louise, you had asked about my weeklies. So how do I use my weeklies? Do I use them all? It really honestly depends. I don't necessarily have a plan for my weeklies. I use them as I need them. For example, 1 week I may use them all in 1 day. I may have what's called a high day. In fact, that's what I used to do years ago. I would go to the workshop. I actually went in person at the time. They weren't workshops, they were just called meetings then. And I would go weigh in on Saturday mornings at the meeting, and then that day was my high day. And we'd have cookouts, I'd have pizza or whatever. That was my high day. And there were days that I would maybe have 50 points. It just kind of depended on what I did. And then the rest of the week, I would kind of go up and down. Like maybe, so I'd have 50 points that day, and then the next day I might go way down to 18, just because I had eaten so much that day. And then I'd kind of go back and forth, like 18, then 23, then 20, then up and down. But I pretty much use my weeklies. Then I may have weeks that I pretty much split them up throughout the week. So I don't split them up and say, okay, I have 28 weeklies, I can have 4 extra points a day. I don't necessarily do that. If I need them, then I use them. And that's pretty much how it is. We have our 4 rollovers, so sometimes I will not even hit my 23. I might roll something over. It just completely depends. So I pretty much eat like this, and honestly, that's what my body likes to do. If I eat like this, where I'm only getting 23, 23, 23, 23, it just doesn't like it. And that's why for me personally, I don't really care about those blue dots. Honestly, I've never really cared about the blue dots, because I just feel like if I am hungry at night, if let's just say that I didn't eat very satiating foods throughout the day, but I'm at my points, I've already had my points, or 1 more point's gonna put me out of the blue dot. I don't want to give more priority to that blue dot than I give to my body telling me what it needs. That's pretty much how I do it. So if my body tells me that it's hungry, then I try to feed something. So that's where I say, when I said about I don't regret reading the intuitive eating, because I'm really trying to use the principles that I learned in that to combine with my weight loss. And Years ago, I would have ignored any hunger signs that I have. Now I don't do that. I'm not ignoring that. I know that's my body telling me that I need it. Whether I got some extra activity, which is another thing. I did not get a lot of activity this week, so I have got to get back onto that. It's just, I was sitting all day at work every day. So it just depends. And if I use all my weeklies, great. If I don't worry about it. And that's why even some weeks, if I even go a little bit over on my weeklies, I'm just not stressing about it. But with that said, again, we're all different. So the way that I use my weeklies may not work the same way for you. Now, here's the other thing. I could eat the exact same way this week as I ate last week. I can eat the exact same calories, I can eat the exact same foods, everything. And that scale could be completely different next week. We don't control that. All we can do is be consistent and just remember that scale is just a guide. So if the scale is not working in your favor, but you still feel good and you know that you've done well, don't worry about it. Don't let that scale define how you are taking care of yourself. As long as you know you're taking care of yourself, you're satisfying yourself nutritiously, and you're satisfying your mind. Another thing I don't do is deprive myself. If I want ice cream, then I'm gonna get ice cream. But I also know myself, and I know that I can't have a whole half a gallon of ice cream in my fridge. I shared a meme on social media saying about how I said something like, clearing out my fridge sounds much more productive than I just polished off another pint of ice cream. That's me. If I have ice cream in my freezer, I'm gonna eat too much of it. So for me, if I'm craving ice cream, it's best for me, honestly, to just drive down the street to the ice cream joint, get the ice cream that I want, get a small one, and be done with it. Then I've satisfied that craving I have, and usually that does the trick for me. I'm not really going to worry about it. I'm going to enjoy Thanksgiving with my family. I'm going to eat the foods that are served. I'm not going to worry about who brought what and what's in what. I may do little changes like not put butter on a roll, or if I don't even feel like a roll, don't have a roll just because the rolls are there. Just take the foods that I feel like eating and don't put a glob of butter on my potatoes, and just different things like that. I'll make little changes, but other than that, I'm just going to enjoy Thanksgiving and not worry about it. And I'm not going to starve the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm not going to try to make up for how bad I ate the day before. Those are just not things that I'm going to do. I'm going to enjoy the holiday. I'm going to move on, and starting Friday, I'm going to do my normal points. I'm not going to starve myself and deprive myself because I ate too much on Thursday. But what I am going to try to do is on Thanksgiving, after I'm done eating, instead of us all lazing around on the couch, I am going to go for a walk. That is going to be my goal. After eating, I'm going to go for a walk. And then, like I said, Friday, right back at it. We had our little Thanksgiving holiday at work. We all brought a dish to pass. We had a ham. There was, you know what? I don't think we had mashed potatoes. We had macaroni and cheese. We had green bean casserole. We had stuffing. We had banana pudding, potato salad. So there were a bunch of other things. And I just took a little bit of each thing that I wanted. There were some things that I thought, you know what, I don't really care for that enough to have it. So I just took a little bit of each thing that I wanted. I didn't worry about the points on it. What I did that day is I just tracked that was 25 points. That was it. And we actually ate at like 10 o'clock in the morning because we have some teleworkers, the full-time teleworkers that were in the office that day. So we wanted to be able to have them come in the morning so they could head back home. And so we ate at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So it was pretty much my breakfast and lunch. I honestly wasn't even hungry when I got home. So even though in my mind I was going to be having this crazy high day this day, so I said I'm going to count the 25 points for my lunch and then I'll have everything else. I only ended up at, I think like 30, I think it was 32 points that day. So that day I dipped into my weeklies. So I am sorry if this video is all over the place. If you're new, I don't do scripts at all. I never write a script. I always just get on here and just start talking. I have an idea in my mind of what I'm going to talk about, and today my idea was simply about sharing my weight loss and also answering Louise's question about the how I use my weeklies. That's the only thing I had in my mind, and I sit down and just talk, say whatever comes out. So again, I said it in my meal prep video. I'm going to say it again now. I hope you all have an amazing Thanksgiving with your loved ones, your friends, your family. And if you have loved ones missing from your table this year, please know that my thoughts and prayers are with you. One of the things I'm most thankful for this year is all of you, those who have stuck with me during the last few months as I've kind of reevaluated my life and made some changes. So thank you for hanging in there with me. I really do appreciate your love and support. I appreciate your friendship, and I love every one of you. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you're new, I'd love for you to be part of the family. Thank you all so much for all your support. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see you in my next one.